They roll to a 4-0 win over the Florida Panthers.
Smackdown on them.
That game was exactly picture perfect. Ideal example of how the Canes envisioned their team playing when they made their moves at the trade deadline, which were splashy. They were the big ones. They were the ones that get teams excited, get fans excited. They played exactly how they envisioned. What do I mean by that? First of all, they played a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Florida Panthers, those two teams don't like each other.
Top team in the NHL.
So maybe I undersold that a little bit, but the Canes don't like them, so you can't be too complimentary.
Exactly.
We rep the same squad over here. Those two teams don't like each other much. There's a history there. There's an Eastern Conference Finals from last year that you're trying to avenge. Last time they played, even in the regular season, it was a knockdown, drag-out, playoff-like atmosphere, 1-0 victory for the Canes. This time, same playoff atmosphere, same extracurricular activities, same chippiness after seemingly every whistle, 4-0. 4-0. And the new guys, for the first time, you could really sense that they were not just fitting in, not just assimilating. They were trying to put their stamp on the game, right? The line of Guentzel, Kuznetsov, and Necas produced a ton of chances. And that is exactly why they are there.
Mm-hmm.
They are there in a game against a good team and a playoff-like atmosphere to create opportunities to score goals, and they did it in bunches. Kuz had a goal. Guentzel had an assist. Necas scored. Could have been more. Rod Brind'amour after the game on how that line has come together.
Yeah, they were the difference tonight, I thought. Really good shifts most of the night. So, yeah, they've seemed to – you put three good players together, it should be a good line, and they know how to play. And, like I said, I'm sure things will change a little bit. We'll try other things, but right now that's obviously been working.
If only it were that simple, right? You put three good players together, it should be a good line. How many times has it been, you put three good players together, why aren't they a good line? Those three, they were the difference, and they impacted the game in a lot of ways. Kuzi got his first goal, and it was a good one. He got to kind of put it up on a tee a little bit. And
let's dust this one off here real fast. Bury it.
Here's Kuzi in the post game after scoring his first goal with the Canes.
It was a great 3 games for me, so it was very important to not only get the goal and assist, to get the Gens and Necas goal. The first period there was not a lot there, and second and third we really mixed that different style of game, and I had the fun tonight, and I hope that everybody in the building had the fun.
A little bit of background noise there, but let me paraphrase it. He's excited, and he's happy that he got his first goal with the Hurricanes. But
one thing he did say on the bench with Hanny Yates was that, doesn't matter if I score or not, team over everything else. Team thing. He's like, he's coming, like he's buying it. He's like, whatever they need me to do, I'm going to do it. He's like, team over everyone else.
Which is nice to say if you weren't the guy that they brought in to score goals.
Yeah.
It's like, because right, being like a greedy goal scorer does come across as like, oh, listen, I don't have to score goals. It's whatever the team needs me to do. And no.
we need you to actually.
No, actually, be greedy. Go be a star. And he has star quality, right? Yeah. The whole bird dance, he's already going to be a soundbite. He's going to be somebody that you hear all the time on this show because he says things that are interesting. He has star quality. But here's what I want to take one step further, because we could sit here and just talk about how the new guys played great. Guentzel assist. Guentzel had a couple deflections that were so close to being goals.
Yeah, one off the post.
One off the post, and then it sat there.
Yeah.
So, like, when I say sat there, I mean it was a foot from a goal, and it was there for half a second before somebody was able to clear it out. We could talk about the new line, and that's kind of the obvious way.
You try and name that line?
Oh, we should try to name that line, actually. How do we want people to let us know? YouTube or Twitter?
Yes.
Okay. Our YouTube, by the way, subscribe while you're there. 99.9 The Fan. You can find a video and comment, or you can send it to us on Twitter at Donnelly Sports or at The Fan Rookie, or to the station at 99.9 The Fan. So there's a ton of different ways for you to get it to us. We want to name the Guentzel, Kuznetsov, Necas line. A few examples would be, what was it, Gem, because the initials of their first names are Jem.
Yep.
What about Gunk?
Gunk?
Gunk. The Gunky line for Guentzel, Necas, Kuznetsov.
Okay, not sold on that one, but all right.
Gunky, it's kind of like it's
Gunk also has a negative.
But it's like taking your biggest friend and nicknaming him Tiny, right? You take your smoothest line and name him Gunky, right? It's a whole little breakdown there, which is you gotta kind of flip them. I'm just throwing it out there, just an option. Doesn't have to be the one we decide.
Okay.
But if you have a good name for that line, go ahead and send it to us, like we said, on YouTube or on Twitter. But going back to my original point, okay, let me bring this back around like a middle school paper, right? In conclusion, last night's game is a picture-perfect example of how the Canes envisioned their team playing when they made their moves at the deadline. The obvious way being because the new guys played well and scored and created points, and that's what they were brought in to do. But the less obvious way is the rest of the roster still did what they are best at unaffected, right? Freddie and the defense put up a shutout. That alone right there is proof that they didn't come in and upset the apple cart, right? The new guys aren't in there throwing off the pH balance of the locker room. Jarvis still popped in a sweet goal, which is something he tends to do from time to time. Svech had a ridiculous empty netter. That they still played Canes hockey. They just mixed in a couple new guys that are point creators. And that is what the envision was. That is what the vision was when you trade for those guys at the trade deadline. Also, there was a bit of standing on business as far as not trading for a goalie a few times this year. And to now have both Pyotr Kochetkov and Freddie Andersen blank the Panthers within the last month is kind of standing on business, saying like, hey, I told you we were fine at goalie. That's why we could go use that cap space. That's why we could go use those resources to bring in these other guys that proved positive, contributed to goals being scored. It really was like, I imagine, yeah, I was just having this conversation. We're going to talk about a football at 4 in a second, that the Bears probably like Ryan Poles, the GM of the Bears, probably popped a bottle to celebrate every time the Panthers lost because that deal got better. The Bryce Young trade got better for the Bears.
Yep.
If I'm Don Waddell, last night's a bottle popping night. I'm going like, I stood pat on my goalies. They're playing well. I brought in the goal scorers. They played well. And the rest of the team that I didn't want to upset was obviously not upset because they played well. Pop the bottle, right? And I'm not talking about the champagne like you're in the post-game locker room for a championship celebration. You save that, but you can still enjoy a little nightcap, right?
Yeah.
You can still enjoy a win. Celebrate every win. You got to.
Here's something to keep in mind as well. Canes aren't at full strength. Jack Drury's still out right now. And who's playing really, really well before he got hurt just before the trade deadline. Actually, I'm sorry. It was like the game right
put
after.
Put him in, move Kotkaniemi to that reserve role?
Probably.
There was a point in the game last night, and there were a couple power plays that affected this, but Kotkaniemi's ice time was not a lot compared to some of the other guys on that team. If you put Jack Drury in there, somebody you might want out there, trust out there for a few more shifts, watch the heck out.
Also, another note from the game yesterday. Florida Panthers have only lost 4 games of their last 22.
They are good. I said that. You're making
me
praise them.
Two of those 4 losses, shutouts by Carolina Hurricanes.
For a different goalie each time.
Exactly.
Like I said, it was a bottle popping night.